welcome back to yet another video. Shiny Pokemon. If you've invested even a little bit of time in the Pokemon franchise, you've easily heard this term used 1,000 different times. Among the 9 different generations of Pokemon you can catch in this series, all of them have an alternate variant known as a shiny Pokemon. Over the years, hunting these special Pokemon has become the pastime for a majority of the fan base, and to be honest, never really invested a lot of time into it. A while back I decided that I wanted to make a big video about catching shinies, but this project became a lot larger than I ever expected. I caught every shiny Pokemon available for each gym badge or Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. This is how it went. Now, if you're a regular to my channel, you probably know that the non-shiny version of this challenge is called a Professor Oak's Challenge, and this is something that I've done for nearly every game in the series, but if you've never seen one of these videos, the rules are extremely simple. The main rule for this challenge is that you have to complete the Pokedex as much as you can before taking on each gym badge, which means that once I've caught every shiny before each gym, I have to evolve them to the highest evolution that's available. In comparison to other games for this challenge, this is a pretty easy task considering the non-shiny version of this challenge, I finished it in like 15 hours. But as you can imagine, having to catch every single shiny Pokemon before each gym is a little more difficult than that. This video is dedicated to everyone that supported all of my content over the years, and I appreciate you all for being so patient during the making of this. With all that out of the way, let's just get right into it.
So as we're starting
at the beginning of the story, let's talk about how shiny Pokemon work in this game. Now, unlike pretty much every other mainline Pokemon game, shinies appear in the overworld rather through random
grass
encounters. As a result, we can save a bit of time by not encountering every single Pokemon we see to check if it sparkles, and all we really have to do is wait around for it to show up. Thankfully for the first section of the game, we only had to catch a handful of Pokemon, but it's important to note that our methods to increase our chances of finding a shiny are limited, but we'll talk more about that in a second. I'd like to note at this point that I made a rough estimate as to how long it would take to complete all of this. Considering the shiny odds, I figured it would take around 300 hours to get through the whole challenge. A very long time, sure, but definitely possible to finish in a couple months. I would like to make it clear that my estimate was very off. Now, if you know anything about the first section of this challenge, there are really only 3 places that we'll need to tackle to get every shiny we need. Route 1 or 2, Route 22, and the low frame rate Viridian Forest. After taking care of the very short list of tasks at the beginning of the game, I was able to make my way to Pewter City to prepare for my first shiny. Unlike the other challenges where I go route by route until I'm in the last area, it's kind of important in this type of challenge to get as far as possible and take advantage of every available item, gift, and battle for this section. I'm going to be a little hypocritical about that later on, but it'll make a lot more sense as we make our way through the challenge. Okay, so let's talk about the first big question in this challenge. How do you get a shiny Pokemon? First and foremost, it's all luck. In the history of the Pokemon franchise, there have been very few shiny Pokemon that are guaranteed. Most notably things like the Red Gyarados in the Johto region, Gible and Dratini in the Unova region, and most recently Ponyta in Legends Arceus. As I mentioned, in this game you can visually see a shiny Pokemon in the world before you get into a battle, but what are the odds of seeing one? Yikes. So the odds like that, this challenge is an immediate path.